Welcome back to episode 2. This is Let's Get Tipsy.
I'm Priscila.
I'm Fernando.
And we're getting tipsy.
We're getting tipsy. This is a podcast where we take a couple drinks, have a conversation basically, and talk about topics.
Because we can.
Because we can. So by the time you're seeing this, it's October.
It's spooky month.
It's spooky month. So we have this month planned pretty much to bring you some spooky videos or topics. So we have a couple topics in mind.
Lock in. Stay tuned. Because they're going to get pretty horrific, pretty spooky, pretty family friendly.
We're excited. I think this is one of the months that we're most excited for because we have a lot planned for this month. But today, by the time you're seeing this, we recorded this on the same day, but we recorded our intro today, which is really exciting.
Yeah, we planned it for it to be a little bit longer, but we kind of went with the flow, and it turned into a little sitcom kind of intro.
And I love how it came out.
Oh, I love how it came out.
I think it came out amazing. I'm sure by the time you're seeing this is episode 2. You should have already seen the intro, but it was fun.
We were sober for that one.
Yeah, so I guess you'll see. I'm pretty sure you've seen the intro, but it was
If you're
fun.
watching this, hopefully you watch the intro. If not, you should totally check it out.
Yes.
But we had fun. We were fighting for our lives. We almost tripped a couple of times. We could have broken an ankle.
Literally.
We did that for this channel. So I think that's commitment, if anything.
You'll see where we recorded. Let me just say, we had to take a couple of takes because there was many rocks that we could have slipped on.
Those rocks were not stable
They
whatsoever.
were not.
I almost broke my ankle a couple of times.
I literally almost face planted, I think.
I was walking on all fours, please.
So...
It was fun, though.
It was fun, though, and I'm glad how it came out.
We're very excited about this, okay?
We are. But today, we have another episode planned for you guys for another movie topic, but we're going a little bit spooky vibes, kind of.
We're talking about horror movies.
Horror movies.
That's what he's trying to say.
To summarize it, that. But today... it's kind of like structured as the last episode where we kind of talked about TV show. Today I'm talking about a movie. I'm talking about the Deliverance because I just watched that.
And I'm going to be talking about Veronica. That's how every episode's going to go. We're going to take turns. We're going to be fairly sober in the beginning, fairly tipsy at the end.
Yeah.
Last time Fernando had to talk about Avatar and kind of miss some topics throughout.
Yeah, looking back, we started at the beginning, cut through the middle, ran straight to the end. Forgot everything about the middle parts, but
hey, we're getting tipsy.
We're getting tipsy. But today I am bringing you the Deliverance. So are we ready?
We're ready. Let's go.
Okay, so I watched the Deliverance literally yesterday, and let me just preface by saying it's a weird movie. I've been telling Priscilla this the whole day.
I haven't watched it.
She hasn't watched it yet, but I watched it and I was like, huh? As far as the whole concept of the movie, but I'll get straight into it. I took notes this time, so we should be good. Basically, the movie starts with a little boy painting his room. It's a family that just moved into a new house because they moved from, I think they originally were from Philly. The main character that it starts with is Ebony, which is technically like the mom. And
what do you mean technically?
Because I'm gonna say mom again, but it's like Ebony's mom. So Ebony is the mom to these 3 kids that moved into this new house, and she is I guess I'll tell you the names of them. She is living with her little child, which is called Andre, but they refer to him as Dre most of the movie. And they she also has her older son Nate and her older daughter Shantae. Which the reason I was saying the other mom is because her Ebony's mom lives with them as well, which her name is Alberta. She's the kid's grandma. So we start the scene starts,
Okay.
and it's the little boy is painting his room because they just moved in, so they're making it for themselves, pretty much. And then it cuts to a scene, and it introduces the grandma, but the grandma's like at church, so she's very like religious.
Good for her.
Good for her. I guess.
Right.
Eventually, it cuts back to them having dinner that night, and they're all like sitting around the table. And Ebony made this meal that nobody likes because she doesn't know how to cook.
No, that sucks.
But she one of the things that happens in that scenario is Dre like kind of like talks back to her, and she smacks him in the mouth.
Wait, what?
And he starts bleeding.
What? Why? What did he say?
So I think pretty much she smacked him because he talked back to her, basically because they didn't like the meal, they didn't want to eat their food, and she like.
I mean, strict mother maybe.
And also she made a salty meal apparently,
Which
and none of them liked. So she smacked him, and she like went over to see like because he started bleeding on his lip. And the grandma like stood up at the same time that Ebony did to go see Dre.
And Ebony's the mother, right?
Ebony's the mother. Berta is the grandma.
And Dre is the oldest child?
Youngest child.
Youngest child.
The little boy.
Oh, she smacked the little boy?
She smacked the little boy.
Oh.
They pretty much have like a face off. Berta and Ebony. Ebony goes, "Don't tell me how to raise my children," because it looked like Berta was about to say something. But Berta decides to leave the conversation, and she's like, "I'm gonna just go to work." So she goes to work. What happens after that? They all pretty much once dinner is over, it cuts to a scene where the kids are in their room and Ebony is downstairs, and the kids in their room. Shantae brings up like, what is that smell? Did y'all fart? Because it smelled really bad, and you can hear in the background like noises of flies. And then Ebony downstairs, she's also like covering her nose, and you can hear the flies. She walks over to the basement, and she like kind of like opens the door, and you can hear the flies, and you can sense that she gets a smell from.
Oh my god, there's a dead body. Oh my god, there's a dead body.
You can sense that there's something there, but she just slams the door shut, locks it.
They're just gonna ignore the flies? That's insane. Like, if I saw something in my basement that was attracting that many flies, I'm thinking, oh, dead body. Police.
That's what I would think, but nope, she just closes the door, doesn't go down there and
Goes
look.
back to bed.
To be fair, it's a dark basement in the middle, not the middle of the night, but at night.
But that's her house.
That they just moved into.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to bed too. I'm going to bed.
So
I'm not doing all that right now.
that's basically where that part is.
Shoot, if it was the middle of the night, if my closet was dragging some flies, I'm going to the living room and going to bed.
Literally.
I'm not bothering. I cannot blame Miss Homegirl.
Okay, so basically, once she closes the door, it cuts
Of the flies that
the
might have a
flies
dead body
in the basement that could possibly be a body. But we'll figure. I'll tell you what it was. It cuts to a random scene of the little boy walking downstairs in the middle of the night.
The youngest one?
The youngest one, Dre.
On purpose?
Yeah, Dre just randomly walks downstairs because Dre is like obsessed with milk. He opens the fridge, gets the gallon of milk.
When you say downstairs, I thought you meant the basement.
Oh, they have a 2-story house in the basement.
Oh.
I could have said that.
Oh.
In the movie, they have a 2-story house with a basement, and the basement is what has the flies in it.
Okay. Got
So Dre walks downstairs from to the kitchen. He opens the fridge. He grabs the jug of milk and just starts chugging it, like pours it, but then it just like starts spilling everywhere. Meanwhile, while he's drinking this milk, a bird crashes into their window. But it's still the scene of Dre drinking the milk. But he doesn't flinch at all. He just like dead face, like keeps drinking the milk.
Maybe he was thirsty.
I guess he drank the whole thing. And then he just walks outside to see what it was.
In the middle of the night?
In the middle of the night. and then just stares at this bird that just crashed into his window, but like with a dead face, like no reaction.
Oh, I'm dropping the kid. Fine, he can stay there.
But everyone else is asleep. He's the only one awake that does this. So the next scene pretty much starts where the kids come back from school, and the corner boys.
The corner boys?
There's like some kids there that like to bully them while they're walking back home.
For what? Didn't they just move there?
Yeah, I don't know exactly why. It doesn't give a reason why. They just start bullying him.
Oh, fun, I guess.
And as they're walking by, Dre and Nate...
That's not very nice.
Yeah.
That's not very nice.
Dre and Nate are walking faster, and the sister's a little bit behind. And one of the boys sitting on the corner...
Wait, so they're all together. I'm so sorry. But isn't the big brother, like, saying something about it?
No.
Oh.
You would think he would, but he did not. He was kind of ignoring them, and he walks faster with Dre, and the sister is walking a little bit behind them, and one of the boys throws a rock at Nate's head, but Nate doesn't do anything. Nate just keeps walking away, and then the sister did make a comment to them, but they just told him to get out of there. Meanwhile, while the cutscene is of them walking home, Ebony is at home doing laundry. She's putting up laundry, and she finds a vodka bottle and a little stack of money in Nate's closet. By this point, the movie kind of prefaces that Ebony has a drinking problem. She grabs the bottle.
Wait, is she a single mother?
She's a single mother. She's a single mother that moved in with her kids because I think the dad was in Iran or Iraq, one of those. I'm not sure exactly where, but
a different country. We're tipsy. Give us a break.
Yeah. They did it. I don't remember exactly where they said that he was, but he was Iran or something like that. But anyway, so she finds that. So when they come back from school and eventually get to the house, Ebony confronts Nate, and she was like, "What is this bottle of alcohol and money doing in your closet?" Nate goes, because she is emphasizing are you drinking alcohol or whatever, or where did you get this money from? And he's like, do you think I would want to drink that after I see what it does to you?
Oh.
And then he kind of just they kind of just all walk into the house. So that's where we get the first
rhythm going.
Yeah, that she has a alcoholic issue. After all of that happens, when Nate gets back, she asks Nate what happened to him because she realized that he has because the boy threw the rock at him.
Yeah.
So she asks him what happened to you, and Shantae tells him that one of the
Shantae's the girl, right?
Yeah. She tells him that one of the corner boys threw a rock at him, pretty much. So Ebony, the mom, walks over to the corner boys and confronts them. She's like, "Don't be messing with my son." Basically beats the corner boy that threw the rock to the ground.
Physically beats him up?
She punched him.
Beats him up.
She kicked him.
Got it. How old is this boy?
They're the same age as
the youngest?
As Nate. No, they're
18?
Probably around 18 or something.
I would do. I don't care.
So she confronts him, kicks him to the ground, and then tells them to not mess around with him. When she gets back home, Bertha, the grandma, is sitting in the porch, and Ebony looks at Bertha and tells her, "Don't tell me how to raise my kids." Then we cut to a scene where they're in the backyard, and Dre, the little boy, is sitting in a swing, and Ebony is in the back porch. Dre is talking to someone that's not there. He's having a full conversation. He's like, "Oh, you're my brother? Oh, okay, whatever."
See, but I had imaginary friends growing up, so I'm not gonna lie to you.
But he has someone random that he's talking to. Ebony shrugs it off, and she's like, "Stop talking to yourself," and tells him to go inside the house. Well, then we cut to the night scene where Dre comes downstairs, runs into the basement at the middle of the night, And
wait, is it dead body still? Wait, is there a dead body?
So we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
I know I haven't said it, but it's not a dead body. But he runs downstairs in the middle of the night. Ebony wakes up because she hears like someone in her house. She comes downstairs and realizes that that the basement door is open. So she closes it and locks it.
No, because that freaks me out. Because the other day I locked my door and I was like, if I didn't lock into the memory of me locking the door, I would have freaked out.
Yeah, but she closes it and locks it. We never get a cutscene that Dre got out of there.
Wait, so she locked Dre in?
She locked Dre in, but we never get a cutscene. But then the next day he's not in the basement anymore. So I don't know how he randomly just got out. The next cutscene comes to where Bertha is going to her chemotherapy appointment.
Wait. Bertha, the grandma, has cancer?
She has cancer.
Could have mentioned that before.
Well, we don't get a glimpse of it until then because she does. At the beginning of this scene, before she goes to her chemo appointment, she is kind of like checking out her wigs, so we realize that she does have cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. So she goes to her appointment, randomly starts flirting with her doctor.
As one should.
As one should. At the appointment, and then before she leaves, the receptionist up front asks her like, "Oh, like you haven't paid. Like, what's going on?" And Bertha goes, "Oh, let me talk to the medicated people. That you know how they are, insurances, whatever." The receptionist goes, "We haven't accepted medicated for over a year."
The ghost was paying.
And then that's when they reveal that Ebony this whole time has been paying for her.
Wait, so does Ebony have like a good job? So Ebony has, what, 3 kids?
3 kids, and she's still somehow managing. I
Dude,
think she's mainly.
sad.
Yeah. I think somehow she's still managing. Because obviously, if her mom has cancer, she wants to help her out or whatever.
Oh my god, that's so depressing.
And the receptionist goes, "Yeah, she hasn't told you. She's been paying for you because she knows you like this office."
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so is Ebony a good person? Do we like Ebony?
Yeah, she is pretty a good person. She doesn't seem like it because she is alcoholic. And then in this next scene,
Both of you to say in a Tipsy podcast.
Exactly. But in this next scene, so once the mom figures out that that Ebony has been paying for her, the next scene is pretty much Ebony walking back from, I don't know, I guess a club, but she's drunk.
Oh.
And she's not supposed to be drinking anymore.
Why?
Because she's trying to get better for her kids.
Oh.
Because she has custody of her kids now.
Wait, so is it like a custody thingy, like a battle?
Yeah. So,
wait, but isn't their dad in like Iraq or Iran or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't know. The dad part, they don't really like mention that much.
So who's she fighting custody over? Like
Her dad. I mean, she's fighting over the dad, but they don't really mention like what's going on. Like if the dad is constantly on them. We never meet the dad. Never. But basically, this next scene comes up where Ebony's walking back from, I guess, a club or something, and she's drunk, and she walks into the house, and Bertha is sitting there, and Ebony goes, "Before you tell me anything, I didn't drive, that's why I walked back home," because she was drunk.
I hope it was a short walk.
Bertha confronts her and pretty much tells her like, "Oh, so you've been paying for my appointments," and Ebony's like, "They weren't supposed to tell you that."
What do you mean confront her? Isn't that a good thing?
It's a good thing, but her mom didn't. I guess she know how much she was struggling. She didn't want her to be doing that.
Oh.
So she was pretty much telling her like, they
why'd you
told
do that
me.
for me?
Yeah. So after all of that happens, Ebony's drunk, so she's just like, "I'm going to bed." She goes to sleep.
She's drunk.
She's drunk. she goes to bed and she goes to sleep. We get a glimpse into Ebony is having a random dream where she sees this guy come into her room, and as soon as like he goes like walks up to her, she actually wakes up and the door slam shuts. IRL, like she had woken up because it wasn't part of the dream anymore. It wasn't like she was like dreaming. The door slammed shuts. So she comes downstairs and she's like, she's yelling. She's like, who is in this house? Like, who just broke in?
I mean, that's one would.
Exactly. If you see your your door slam, then you're gonna investigate. She walks downstairs and realizes that the basement door is open again. This time the light is on in the basement.
And her kid is out of there by now, right?
Huh?
The kid is out of there by now.
Well, this is we don't see that Dre went down. It was just that
continuation.
Yeah, she wakes up from her dream and the door randomly slams shut, but she doesn't know who it is. So she closes the door, locks it again, and leaves the locks the basement. She walks over to the kitchen because, mind you, if you remember, she had walked back drunk that day. So she's walking back. That day she was still like hungover, like after she woke up from her dream.
Is she gonna work?
Nah, yeah. We're still at night. Where she woke up from her dream. And she...
From the man.
Yeah, from the random man in her dream that woke her up. So after she shut the door, she gets the urge to throw up. So she goes into the kitchen and throws up.
Oh, so she was like messed up.
She was messed up. As she's throwing up, Nate, the older son, walks downstairs and confronts her because he was like, "Where's my money at?" Because you remember Ebony found a vodka bottle and a sack of money.
Yeah.
She took the money.
She just took it? I thought she questioned him.
She questioned him, but
she took the money.
She never gave the bottle or the money back. Ebony goes, like, where are you even getting this money from? Like, why do you have so much money? He goes, my dad has been sending me money. I've been saving up the money so I can get out of here. Because he hates her, I guess.
Is she a bad mom?
She's a bad mom because he...
because she's also an alcoholic.
Yeah. So he finds her throwing up. So he's like, you're not doing any better. You're not supposed to be drinking, whatever. So yeah. So he starts confronting her. He pushes her because she's not like giving...
His own mom?
He pushes his own mom. He's like, I hate you. You...
As a teenage girl, I've been there. Me and my mom have gone through it.
So
we're super close now, though. We're super close now. But me and my mom have been through it.
Yeah. So he pushes her. She falls down on the ground.
Ooh, that bad?
So yeah. And then, well, she's also still...
Wait, but why is he so... Well, I guess it's
because he wants his money back.
Anger issues.
Yeah, because he wants to move out. He doesn't want to be there anymore.
I get it.
And then she's like, oh, you messed with the wrong one. And then starts, like, trying to go towards Nate. Ebony starts going towards Nate. Then, little Dre comes downstairs. And he's like, stop, don't hurt him.
But the thing is, if I was a mom, I'd be the same way. Bro, you are 20 years younger than me. Do not try me.
Yeah.
I am your mother. Do not do that to me.
I forgot to mention a key point. When she originally came downstairs, like, thinking that someone broke into her house, she had a bat in her hand. Mm-hmm. Because she's like, oh, I'm going to beat you up, pretty much. But when she went to the kitchen to throw up, she just, like, threw the bat. Like, she threw it on the ground.
So F the intruders.
She threw the bat and she went to throw up. When Dre came downstairs running and she saw that Nate and her were arguing, he was like, oh, don't hurt him. Runs towards the kitchen, slips on the bat, falls, and hits, like, the counter. I don't know if it was a toaster or a whole microwave fell on him in his stomach and hurt him. And Ebony stops fighting with Nate, runs to Dre, and is like, oh my god, are you okay? Nate goes, Mom of the Year, or something like
That's
something
hurtful though.
something around those lines, and he just goes back upstairs.
I'm not a mother, so I can't not speak on this, but
I mean,
that's hurtful on both sides. Like, I feel like a kid shouldn't grow up. This goes back into my movie, but I feel like a kid shouldn't grow up too early, and I feel like a mother should take more responsibility, but also mothers have it really hard sometimes.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
But, because in the sense, he shouldn't have said that comment. Like, that's so messed up. After that happens, that scene kind of ends, and the next day, we get a glimpse of what's actually downstairs.
Oh, finally! Instead of the
Finally!
body? Instead of the dead body?
Finally, we figure out what's downstairs. Turns out it was a dead cat.
Oh.
I know. It was a dead cat.
I'm a cat mom.
They don't go investigate. They hire an exterminator or something.
Could have been a dead body and they hired an exterminator.
I don't know what the guy is, but he comes downstairs and he's like, "Oh, this is what's been in your basement," and he's like, "It's $60," because he just took out the cat. Ebony's like, "I don't got that money. Contact the landlord." But the guy was like, "Oh, I get paid on the spot. I don't like."
Is that how exterminators work?
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person. So basically, she was like, I don't got that money. But the kids are in the back. It's like in the backyard where this is taking place. And Nate goes, oh, I got it.
Nate is the oldest kid, right?
Nate is the oldest kid that had that money.
Wait, did she get back the money?
Yeah.
Oh.
She gave him back the money. I forgot to mention that. She gave him back the money. When she went to put it back in his drawer, she was like, please don't leave, Nate. Because
Please don't what?
Leave. Because you remember Nate was like, I'm moving out. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here.
I've done that with my mom several times. I get it.
So when Ebony, I forgot to mention that, sorry. But when Ebony puts back the money into his drawer, she was like, please don't leave, Nate. I really need you. Ebony says that she doesn't have the money. Nate is like, oh, I got it. Runs upstairs, gets the $60.
No.
And then pays the guy. So then the guy leaves and Ebony starts yelling at him like, because I don't know. She just starts yelling at him. But then Cynthia pulls up.
Who's Cynthia?
Cynthia is their DCS officer, which is the for them is the Department of Child Services officer. So she's making sure that Ebony's on track and that she's not like.
So she's fighting for her children.
She's basically like. She says it later on. She's like, she's the only reason that Ebony still has custody of them because she's like monitoring them and making sure that Ebony is not like still an alcoholic or whatever or like doing drugs or anything.
Dang, then she done ducked up.
Yeah. So she pulls up. Cynthia pulls up. All the kids go back in the house in the living room. And Cynthia's like talking to them. She's like, oh, so what have you like been? How have you been? Ebony never reported that they moved, but
why not?
I don't know. I guess because she didn't want the officer to come by.
But they were gonna find her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cynthia eventually like found out where they live, found out where the kids go to school and everything. She had already spoken to the school because she asked the kids, oh, how has school been? The kids don't respond. Ebony's like, oh, they've been good. She was like, Cynthia goes, that's not what the school said.
That looks sketchy. That seems a little bit sketchy.
Mind you, if you remember, Dre got hit with something when he ran downstairs. I think it was like a toaster or like a micro like a little microwave in his stomach. So he's like hunched whenever Cynthia comes by. I don't know where Shantae has these random bruises in her arm. They don't get into it, but Shantae has random bruises They Cynthia doesn't realize that Nate has where he got hit by a rock. So
I cannot imagine that goes well.
yeah. So
I cannot imagine that's a good call.
Cynthia asked Shantae, like, where did you get these bruises from? She was like, I don't know.
Totally not sketchy.
Right. And then Ebony goes, Cynthia asked Ebony, where did she get these bruises from? She was like, the kids say they don't remember. They don't know.
Bro, even more sketchy. If I was a social worker, I was like,
Be like, take the kids now.
Yes. What?
But she's like, how do you not know? Whatever. Eventually, she tells the kids, I want to talk to your mom. So go, like, she tells them to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Before they go away, she gives Cynthia gives Shantae her card. She's like, call me if you need anything.
Fair enough.
And she talks into Ebony.
But are we sure that Ebony didn't do anything?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ebony didn't do anything. She didn't actually.
So the things that are going on with the kids are in the house.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Ebony didn't. I don't know where Shantae's
Because the way
bruises
they
came
make
from.
it sounds, I'm like, she's abusive.
That's what people thought, that she was abusive, but she wasn't. Shantae had bruises. I don't remember if the show ever showed like where Shantae got the bruises from, but I don't think so.
No.
Anyways, so she tells the kids to go away. Cynthia starts talking to Ebony on her own, and she's like basically like, oh, like, are you taking drugs? Have you drinking alcohol?
Dang.
And Ebony goes, oh no, I like, just like every other person, like whenever they drink alcohol. Ebony goes, that's a lie.
How does she know? Does she know?
I guess she can sense in the way everything, because of all the children having bruises and everything. Cynthia, I guess, is thinking that she's abusing her children. I don't know. But yeah, eventually, Cynthia tells her that she needs to clean up her act if she wants to keep her children. Leaves. When she leaves and goes into her car, Ebony comes out like to her porch with Bertha, and they see her drive away. But then there's this random car in front of their house, a green car. I must mention it as a green car because that's pretty much what it looks like in general. For the rest of it, it's just a green car. But there's a lady in there, and the scene cuts to the lady looking into the window, and Dre, the little boy, is upstairs in the window looking at her.
So she's part of the CSPA.
And then yeah, that's what Bertha says, because Ebony's like, who is that? Because they see the green car and they see the lady staring at their house. Bertha goes, oh, it's probably like from Child Protective Services.
What do you mean probably?
Because she's not.
What do you mean oh!
She's not. But she's looking into the house and she sees Dre. She's like staring at Dre. So then we cut to the next scene where it's Shantae's birthday.
How old is she now?
I don't know.
Okay, so you said she was almost as old as the oldest child.
Yeah, but I also gave a rough estimate of what his actual age is.
So she's a teenager.
She's a teenager, yeah. So it's Shantae's birthday. They're having a little party at their house, and everyone's there. They invited a lot of people. I don't know who these people are. They just invited them.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the night, basically are partying, and Ebony gives Shantae her birthday gift, and it's a phone that she wanted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because originally Ebony was like, oh, like, we don't have money for she gives her gift, and eventually it's coming into the end of the party, and she tells the kids to go to sleep. Shantae and Nate both go upstairs to their bedroom to go to sleep, and then she's telling Dre, oh, okay, go to bed, because Dre is is trying to like, he was like, oh, but my auntie was like trying to teach me how to play dice, like for gambling.
Okay.
And she was like, no, like she doesn't need to be teaching you that. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Tells them to go to sleep. So she sends the kids to sleep, whatever. And then at the end of the night, it's just Ebony and that one other aunt, and they're like starting to walk downstairs. The aunt leaves, but then they start hearing these random bangings out of nowhere, loud bangings that wakes up everyone,
which is gonna pull through on future episodes. Keep on watching.
Yeah, this is where it finally starts getting good. She starts hearing bangings. This banging's coming from the basement. So she goes and opens the basement door. Mind you,
wait, who?
Ebony.
Ebony, okay.
Because she heard all these bangings. She goes and opens the basement door because that's mainly where the banging is coming from. Mind you, she had told all the kids to go to sleep.
So it's just random banging.
She opens the basement door. Dre is banging his head against the door.
Oh.
She was like, I thought I told you to go to sleep. Go to bed. So she sends Dre back to sleep. Basically, at the end of the night, everyone goes to sleep. If you remember, I mentioned that Bertha was flirting with her doctor at the office.
Yeah, I do.
They invited the doctor to the party.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So Bertha is downstairs. Like, after everyone left, she is saying goodbye to Melvin, which is
the doctor?
The doctor. They heard the banging again. She hears the kids yelling for her.
Oh, Bertha?
Yeah.
Oh.
Bertha, the grandma, hears the kids yelling for her. She walks upstairs, finds the kids in their room in a corner.
Oh.
And she finds Ebony in the opposite corner. She's like, what?
Oh my God, Ebony's possessed.
She was like, what happened? The kids don't say anything. Ebony doesn't say anything. She asks the kids, what happened? Dre goes, she threw us against the wall.
She's possessed. That was just my assumption. I'm just going on my movie, Mo.
And then Bertha looks over at Ebony and she was like, what happened? Like, tell me what happened.
So what happened?
And then
lock in, tell me what happened.
Ebony's like, she was like, I didn't do that. Bertha
but she was in the same room.
She was in the same room.
Then what happened? Okay.
Bertha tells her, you need to get out of here.
To Ebony?
To Ebony. She was like, get out. So Ebony leaves
the house.
Leaves the room. So then the movie cuts to the next scene where the next day Bertha is driving the kids to school. After what happened to them, she drives into school and the green car is following them.
Oh, the green car that was in the front of the house when the service worker was there.
Yeah, they think it's a service worker, but
I can't think.
Dre is the only one that gets up in the car. He gets up in his seat and looks behind them and realizes that a service worker is following them, which is kind of weird.
Why are they going to school?
They're going to.
Oh, okay.
Bertha is taking them to school.
So Ebony's no longer in the picture right now.
No, not right now.
Okay.
Ebony's still at home. So then the kids get to school. Ebony's still at home, like trying to like
lock in.
She just woke up because at Shantae's birthday party she got messed up again.
That's not very nice.
Yeah. And so she's still having the hangover. She's trying to clean up herself or whatever. And the kids at school start experiencing weird stuff.
What kind of weird stuff?
So we start with the scene where Dre asked to go to
the
the little boy. Dre, the little boy, asks to go to the bathroom. And it cuts to a scene where it's like back to back. So it's like Dre has to go to
cutscene.
Yeah, Dre has to go to the bathroom. Then the next scene is Nate is in his classroom, and the teacher is having like a very sensitive subject about how people died and everything. And
what do you mean?
I don't remember. I wish I could tell you, but I don't remember.
So history lesson, but then the teacher goes like, "My own son died from there," and then it cuts Yikes.
to
Yikes.
Then it cuts to Shantae in choir. I don't know, not choir, but like music class. She's in the whole class.
Chorus, maybe?
Chorus. Yeah. She walks up to the teacher and is about to tell her something. And then it cuts back to the scene where Dre asks to go to the bathroom. He's starting to go to the bathroom, pooping in his hand. Cuts to Nate. Remember I told you that we're having a very sensitive subject. The teacher was like, "My own son died from that." I can't tell you the subject because I don't remember. But he starts hysterically like laughing. The whole classroom...
So being insensitive.
Insensitive. The whole classroom is silent. Nate is the only one laughing. And then when Shantae went up to the instructor...
Why did the teacher not tell him to shut up?
I don't know. She didn't, but she kept like telling like, "My own son died from this," and everything.
Which is of be quiet, like
yeah. And then when Shantae was in her music class and she was talking to the instructor, like she randomly started bleeding from her pants.
Oh, period type stuff.
We cut back to Dre when he was pooping onto his hand. Grabs it, throws it to the teacher. Then cuts to the scene of Nate. Nate hysterically is laughing on the ground.
So he's seizing. Or just cackling.
Cackling, but like crazy stuff. And then it cuts to Shantae is randomly like super bleeding. And like all the music, like all her classmates leave the room.
I would too.
Even the instructor like left the room.
Me too.
So after that, they all pretty much get admitted into a hospital because they're trying to test
all 3 kids.
All 3 kids.
Gee.
After they go to the hospital, the doctor does their exams and they don't find anything. They don't find anything psychologically wrong, or like through their blood tests they don't find anything wrong with them.
So they just threw shit at the wall for no reason.
Pretty much. Bertha and Ebony go to the hospital to see like the doctor, and that's when the doctor told them like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with them. You're good."
Wait, what?
Yeah, now.
Oh, cute.
Exactly.
That's
now,
not very nice.
Back home, Bertha, I guess, gets a sense that there's something different going on. So she starts hanging up a cross in their, like...
Oh, so she says some creepy shit.
Yeah. She senses that something's wrong. So she puts up a cross, but then Ebony's like... She tries to take it down. Because Ebony does not believe in that. Bertha insists on keeping the cross up. So she keeps the cross. Before that happened... Ebony was showering on Dre, and she was like giving him a shower, but her phone started ringing. That's when she came downstairs and she realized that her mom was putting up the cross. And then mind you, Dre is still in the shower in the bathtub.
Well, he's like 6, right?
Yeah. So he's in the shower in the bathtub or whatever. Ebony starts walking upstairs and she hears Dre scream for her. She runs upstairs, finds Nate drowning.
The oldest
Dre.
kid?
Yeah.
Drowning his brother?
Yep. She finds Dre like...
Oh, all of them ever said, "I'm dropping the kids and the house."
Burn everything down. Everything
I don't care enough. Like, those are beyond saving. There's no way.
She tries to get Nate off of Dre.
But that's a demon, bro. I'm not messing with that.
It's not Dre. It's something else. And then she eventually pulls him on because Ebony yells for Bertha, the grandma. She runs upstairs, and then when she finally gets Nate off, Bertha consoles Nate because Nate like switches back to him. And
so possessed.
He was possessed. He was possessed. And he switches back to himself. Then Ebony starts consoling Dre because she's like, oh my god, you almost got drowned.
You almost died.
Meanwhile, while Bertha is consoling Nate and Ebony is consoling Dre is looking at Bertha consoling Nate, dead face. Like nothing happened.
So that's a demon.
That's the demon.
He can go up.
That's the demon itself.
In the most respectful way, I am not messing with it.
So Cynthia comes over the next day. The
child care worker.
Yeah, she comes over the next day asking to see the kids, and Ebony's like, "This is not the time. Like, the kids had a really, really rough night. Like, you shouldn't be here." Cynthia walks into the house, into the living room, and starts talking with Ebony. She's like, "I need to see the kids. I need to see them." Now, she starts trying to go up the stairs where the kids are at, and Bertha comes downstairs with a bat and pretty much runs Cynthia out the house. So they leave the house.
But why?
Because out of everything traumatic that happened that night, they don't want
any more stress.
Yeah, they don't want any more stress. They don't want Cynthia to see that. If she sees any of that, it's done.
That's very fair.
She's gonna take the kids. She's like, okay, the kids need to go. You're clearly
these girls are crazy.
Clearly something's wrong. The next scene is pretty much Bertha going to church trying to find help.
Oh.
Because she realizes that something's wrong. And she's trying to seek help from the church, but the church is like, we don't do that. We don't do no exorcism, nothing like that.
Well, realistically, like, churches do not do that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go to somebody specialized in that, and then they have to go through a whole approval process, from what I understand.
Yeah. So they were like, we don't do that. You have to find someone else. So then Bertha goes back home. Meanwhile,
like, nothing happened.
She couldn't find any help, so she just goes back home. Meanwhile, Ebony is at a bar.
Bro, what?
Exactly. Ebony's at a bar, and she eventually leaves the bar, and there's the lady in the green car. That other lady's outside, and she's like, your kids are sick. They need help.
Anybody can tell that.
And Ebony's like, not believing it, and she pretty much just goes off. Meanwhile, they go back to the scene where Bertha is back home. Bertha's coming downstairs from the house. It's just like eerie music going on. Bertha comes downstairs going on, and she grabs the Bible because she knows there's something like, I'm pretty sure at this point she knows there's something demonic going on. So she starts grabbing her Bible.
Oh, my grandma will go feral.
And she starts turning to a verse. Then some kind of like demon or creature attacks her in the living room.
No way. Are the kids in the house?
The kids are in the house, but they're upstairs. Attacks her in the living room and pretty much unalives her.
No, what?
So, meanwhile, Ebony's at the bar talking to this lady.
And her mom is getting unalived.
Unalived. And so then Ebony comes back home from the bar, and she hears a smoke alarm going on.
No, we cannot just gloss over that. What?
We're getting to it. I promise. She hears the smoke alarm going off, and then she like walks over. She's like, "What's going on? You remember that Bertha was hanging up a cross?
Yes.
The cross is on fire.
What?
The cross is on fire, and she goes to try to turn it off, but then out of the corner of her eye, I guess, she sees her mom laying in the living room dead.
Okay. What?
Ebony grabs her children, goes into the car, and they drive away.
As they should. Go to Washington.
They leave the mom though.
I don't care. The mom is dead.
Or the grandma. The grandma.
I don't care.
The grandma's left dead in the house.
Escape, please.
They run away.
God's sake, escape.
And they're in the car, and it's all the little kids and Ebony. And Shantae's like, where are we going? Where are we going? Whatever.
Shantae, shut up.
And then she looks at her rear view mirror, which Dre is in the back seat. Dre, the little boy. Dre starts like banging his head.
Oh my god.
Against the back seat.
This is why I'm not having kids.
And he's like, you're the reason your mom died.
Like, literally, quote for quote. He's
like
like, you're the reason your mom died.
He's like, it's your fault that your mom died.
It's not like, oh, you're the reason grandma died.
No.
He's like, you're the... Oh.
And then she's like looking at the rear view mirror. His, like, eyes turn fully black.
Funny.
Fully black.
I'm gonna crash the car.
And she's
I would have crashed the car.
She almost did, because she was about to run into a semi.
I would do on purpose.
She, like, swerves and then runs into, like, some kind of, like, restaurant.
I'd rather die by a semi than a demon. Thank you, though.
Yeah, same.
Thank you.
She runs into a restaurant parking lot. She runs out of the car and she's like, help, someone is killing my children. Into this random restaurant where people are just like casually
A Waffle House.
A Waffle House.
A Waffle House.
So there's this random guy that walks out and checks out the car. And then Dre's just like, because Dre's the one that his eyes turn black. Dre's just like waking up. And he's like, what's happened?
Going on?
He's like, where are we? Of course. So since the guy saw how crazy Ebony looked, Ebony gets admitted. So after Ebony gets admitted, she gets interviewed by, I guess, the person at the hospital, and it's asking her questions and like asking her like what happened pretty much and like what's going on. Did she feel stressed out and stuff like this? Eventually she fully gets like diagnosed with like schizophrenia, I guess.
Wait, Ebony gets diagnosed with schizophrenia?
They don't mention it, but in a sense she does, because she stays at the hospital and they take away her children. So Cynthia comes in and tells her like, yeah, I tried, but your kids are gone. Ebony eventually gets released from the hospital. She goes back home. She starts like pretty much seeking help from, she realized that there's something demonic wrong. So she goes and gets help from the lady in the green car. And she asks the lady like, oh, like, I need help because like there's actually something going on. So the ladies like starts telling her like, you need to be strong because whatever is in that house, they feed off of weakness. So basically the lady's like telling her, oh, you need to be strong, you need to be strong, you need to believe in God or whatever. But Ebony does not believe in God, because while she's talking to the lady, which we find out later that her name is Bernice, which she claims
the green car lady.
The green car lady, which she now represents herself as an apostle, kind of. She's like, I'm an apostle, I'm an evangelist. So like,
What's an apostle?
Good question. I guess in a sense that
I
may be wrong. I'm not quoting this.
We are not religious professionals.
We are not.
Just 23-year-olds yapping. Please.
But in a sense, the apostle is the person who is like the person giving the word of God, pretty much. And they have kind of like a gift from God.
Okay.
So she is talking to Bernice, which is the apostle, trying to help her like get rid of this demon. This is when Ebony reveals that at her young age, Ebony was SA'd.
Oh.
Because Bernice is like asking her like, what's wrong? Like, what happened to you? Like, why didn't you believe? And then she was like, well, my mom let A. And then it cuts to a scene where there's a guy. You remember earlier when we talked about a guy in her dream?
Yeah.
She's remembering the guy in her dream that SA'd her. In the whole movie, she has some like some bad like resentment towards her mom, and that's part of it. It's because her mom let a guy essay her, I guess.
She let her?
Because she was like, my mom let a... And then it cuts to the cutscene where a guy comes in and does that to her.
Wow.
But then when she's talking to Bernice about this, she's like, never mind. But then they start praying. They start doing their thing. After she talks to the lady, Ebony comes and she realizes that she needs to get Dre, because Dre is the main demonic power.
Dre's the youngest kid, right?
Yes. But
Wow.
meanwhile, Dre has already been admitted to the hospital because Dre's like twitching out. He's going crazy because the demonic thing is in him. At the hospital where Dre is like going crazy, Cynthia comes over, the DCS worker or officer comes over, and she sees Dre twitching out.
Oh.
She walks into the room, and then that's when Dre was like, he likes watching you sleep. She's like, what are you talking about?
Who?
She was like, Julian.
Who in the world is
She was
Julian?
like, how do you know who Julian is?
Who is Julian?
Cynthia had a son back in the day that was 7 years old.
Oh, back in the day, he's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Back in the day, he was 7 years old. Apparently, she like turned her head for like 2 seconds. She turned back around, and her son was like hit by a car. Dre mentions this to her, which Dre wouldn't know nothing about about him. And she was like, how do you know who that is? Whatever. And is like talking to him. And then Dre's like, because Cynthia's referring to him as Dre. Dre goes, I'm not Dre. Because he has this like deep demonic voice.
Oh.
He's like, I'm not Dre.
Possession.
Yeah. And Cynthia's then like, who are you then? Dre goes, unstrap me and I'll tell you who I am.
Absolutely not. You can say you're happy, but in bed.
And that's what she says. She was like, that's not how this works. So then this is where the movie gets weird, because the CGI is kind of weird, and
Oh, so it wasn't what we were for?
it kind of, but basically, as Dre is strapped, heads and hands, his straps just come undone.
Well, it's the money power, man. You don't question that.
He jumps out of bed and then starts crawling, like he walks backwards and then starts crawling up into the wall, into the corner. Like if he's Spider-Man. Like picture Spider-Man, how he walks. That was him.
I am so out of the hospital. I don't care if it's my kid or not. I am literally crawling out of the hospital the same way he crawled into the hospital.
Okay, so after all of this happens where Dre is like telling Cynthia that, she tells the doctor like, oh, you need to push a button. Because this kid is out of it. Like, you need to push the button. Like, you need to take this kid. Meanwhile, while Ebony was talking to Bernice, Ebony breaks into the hospital as a nurse. She breaks into Dre's room, and she pretty much kidnaps Dre. Because remember, Dre is at the hospital where he got admitted.
Mm-hmm.
She kidnaps Dre, and she takes him with Bernice to the old house. Then finally, when Cynthia was talking to the doctor, like, you need to push this button, you need to push this button, the doctor finally believes in her, and he goes into the office, or into Dre's room. Dre's not there anymore because
Kidnap.
he already got kidnapped. So what happens is Ebony and Bernice take Dre back to the house where everything happened, and they pretty much begin the deliverance.
Ooh.
That's what they call it. And they start like, it's pretty much an exorcism. They don't call it exorcism because
Exorcism.
they don't call it that, but that's pretty much what it is. And Bernice tells Ebony like, step back. This figure is gonna start taking faces of the people that you love. It's gonna try to get into your heart. Don't let it affect you. Stay strong. Bernice starts pouring holy water on Dre, which is a demon at this point. And he's like yelling and like
so he's
like,
possessed.
Yeah. Somehow or another, this is where I'm telling you the CGI and everything kind of got weird, because he turns into Ebony's mom. She starts talking to Ebony and she's like, don't let this happen to me, whatever. The demon is too strong for Bernice. The demon breaks loose. It starts attacking Bernice. So Bernice tells Ebony, run upstairs. Bernice starts chanting to the demon, which is now Bertha, but like with a demonic face, like creepy smile, claws as hands. So it turns back into Dre, turns invisible. Like, it just literally vanishes in thin air.
Oh, so we're in sci-fi mode now.
That's what I'm telling you. This movie was like weird.
Awesome.
So
love that.
It turns into invisible. Then it's like you can hear the footsteps around the house because we're looking at Bernice's POV now. It picks up Bernice from thin air and drops her into the ground. Then Bernice runs towards the kitchen. It like picks her up again and drops her. Again. Ebony comes downstairs and finds Bernice like about to die on the ground. Bernice even tells her, like, I'm dying. Take this.
But I thought Bernice was dead then.
She's about to die.
Oh.
She tells Ebony, take this. It's a little bottle of holy water. And she grabs it. Yes. Ebony goes downstairs because that's where the demon is at. That's where Dre is at. She splashes the demon with Dre with the holy water, and he like starts like smoking,
seizing and shit.
But it was a little bottle, so it does nothing. Of course. And and then the demon starts attacking Ebony, pushing her. It's weird because she like starts like twisting backwards.
Because the one thing I saw on TikTok about this movie was that Ebony started speaking in languages. Like,
we're about to get into that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She basically, at one point, she like actually dies because it's like the demon is like beating her. In her vision, you can see that she has those. You know when they explain like before you die, you have those like 7 seconds or 7 something of like
7 seconds full of all the memories.
Yeah, all the memories. She starts having that. And she starts remembering her kids and everything. And then everything turns black. Ebony walking towards something because they don't show what it is. She just starts walking towards something, and turns out it's her mom. Her mom.
Dead mom.
Her dead mom. They don't show her, but you can hear her voice. She's like, I know you don't want to speak to me, but maybe you want to speak to God. Then Ebony comes back to life. So the demon that had already attacked her took form of Ebony. Acid, it was walking away because it thought Ebony died. Ebony wakes up and is standing behind the demon. And then she starts like chanting like, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus, whatever. And then the demon's like trying to tell her like, stop, you shouldn't do this.
We don't have to go through that. Like, come on.
Don't gotta do this.
It's not that deep.
But Ebony keeps on going without resentment. And she keeps like saying, I rebuke you, I rebuke you, I rebuke you. And then eventually something takes over Ebony. This is where I'm telling you the movie gets super weird. Because something takes over Ebony. I'm guessing it was like some kind of like good spirit.
Maybe your guardian angel.
And then she like, it's like she was like walking, and then she runs like into her knees, and then starts chanting into a different language.
That's when she started speaking.
Yeah, because in that scene, she pretty much like started speaking in tongue. And while she's doing this, it cuts to a scene where Nate and Shantae are in the foster care. and there Shantae like starts levitating in her bed at the foster care, but it's like at night, so like in the foster care nobody's like realizing this going on, and then Nate is like going crazy in the hallway, like ripping his shirt, and he's like yelling, and like smoke is coming out of his mouth. He starts like growing claws for hands, but then whenever like Ebony finally like defeats the demon, it basically gets dragged into the hole in the basement. Ebony is like standing on the other side, and it like blows up all the windows in their house. Back at the foster home, because it cuts back to a scene where Nate and Shantae are at. When Shantae starts levitating from her bed, she like randomly, you know, have you ever seen where like Jesus is like has the bloody hands because like that's where the nails went into his hand? Shantae like gets that because she starts like bleeding from her hands.
Yes, from the center of the hand.
Both hands, and she's like levitating. She's like levitating like this. So in the same position, once Ebony defeated the demon, she just lays back down and she's like clean, no blood. Nate, the same thing. It's like he gets like dragged into a room, and then he has like scratches on his chest like from blood, but then he like stops like from him twitching. Back home where all of this is going down, Ebony finally finds Dre right by the hole where the demon got dragged down to. He's pretty much back to normal, and then it cuts to a scene where like Ebony is like packing up all her stuff from the house, as she should, because after all of that happened. And then Cynthia comes over and tells her like, oh, this is gonna be a long fight, telling her like, oh, trying to get your kids back, because Ebony still doesn't have her kids. So her kids are still in foster care, and Ebony says that she's moving back to Philly with one of her aunts, and that she's gonna try to find a place for her kids so that when she can get them back, then they'll have a place. Cynthia tells her, oh, I admire your faith. She was like, if it's God willing, then it would happen. Because suddenly now Ebony's like religious in a sense. After everything that happened.
I was gonna say, because of...
Yeah, because of everything that happened, and because she was able to believe in God. Well, because in a sense, it was like the reason she was able to defeat the villain is because of her faith in God. So this is the end of the movie, and it cuts to like a black screen and says like 6 weeks or something later, they granted like her to get her kids back.
Oh, cool.
So she got her kids back, and they're moving to Philly. It cuts to a scene where they're in the car, and they're like, oh, they're like, where are we going? Because it's Ebony and her kid. And she was like, oh, I got in contact with your dad. We're going to try to work things out. Then it cuts to like memorial, like pretty much like a screen of the old house, and it's saying how the old house, the movie is based on true events. It's a true story that actually happened, but the writer of the story, or the writer of this show, this movie, changed a little parts here and there. So it's actually based on true events in a sense, because at the end of the movie, they show respects to the lady that this movie was based off on. And they show her the picture, and then they show a picture of the actual house of what this movie like was based on. And they even put underneath the house that there's still reports to this day from that property of eerie things going on. That's pretty much it. That's where the movie ends. That's the Deliverance.
That's a confusing movie, but I think I might have to watch it.
You are. It's very weird. It gets very weird at the end, and
I did not expect the ending at all.
Yeah, so I think you should watch it to get a sense of what it means. But I think now we should move on to
it's not Victoria.
Veronica.
Veronica. Before we start, I feel like it's a perfect segue when Fernando was talking about like disclaimers. This is my disclaimer before I get ahead of it. This movie is also based on true events. and I don't want to talk about real life events. This show is for funsies. We're just yapping. We're just talking. I don't want to get into anything serious. I don't want to talk about real life events when real people were affected by actual events who may have actually died. Whether you're a believer or not, like, take away from that experience that someone may have had.
And same thing with the show that I just explained. It's based on true events. We mean no disrespect. I found the movie very interesting, and then I went on to search on what actually happened. So I find it very fascinating as the writer of the movie did, but no disrespect, don't want to bring anything towards the actual people that went through this, because it's based on true events. It's stuff that actually happened.
We're strictly talking about just the movies that we're watching. We're uncultured. We're unaware.
Yeah.
We're not trying to pretend that like we know anything that we don't know.
Yeah.
So Veronica.
Veronica, okay.
In case you couldn't tell, it's a different day.
It's a different day. We're recording the rest of this, but
For the third time. The audio got messed up.
The audio got messed up, but
luckily we didn't get too ahead.
Yeah.
So it's still like your first time listening to it.
Yeah. We're switching over to Veronica. Pre-watch Veronica, and she's gonna tell us all about it.
It's one of my favorite scripts. Horror movies. Genuinely, I'm a very big horror buff. I don't know every horror movie in the world, but I just really like the genre. And Veronica, this is a movie set in the 1990s in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't preface this in the first recording. I just casually kept switching between Spanish and English, and Fernando just thought I was doing that for fun.
Yeah, she was like, this, in a sense, this in English, and I was like, wonder what she's doing that for, but
just thought I wanted to make this multilingual.
Yeah, I had no idea the actual movie was like recorded in Spanish.
Yeah, so we're in Spain.
So we're in Spain, 1991.
1991. And this movie starts off with a 911 call, which I don't know if you have ever made a 911 call.
The only time I ever made a 911 call is when I was little. I was like 6. I had a, you know, when your parents get a new phone, they give you the old one.
Yeah, just to play around with.
Just to play around.
Get you to be quiet for 2 seconds.
And I would be playing around with it, and I had no idea whether the phone is active or not. You can still call 911. One of the days I was just like 911, and then it started ringing. It started ringing, and I was like, oh wait, why is it actually like calling someone right now? Turns out it was actual 911. Someone picked up and was like, hello, blah, 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 and I hung up.
Panic.
I was like, okay, I hung up, nothing will happen. Not even a few minutes later, cops like pulling by in the front of the road, passing by, and then they stopped by here, and they're like, did someone, because they like,
did your parents find out?
They did, because the cops showed up to the house. Well, they showed up to our house, but since I guess it gave them a general location, they were asking around if anybody called 911. We were like, nope.
I don't know if you know, but whenever someone makes a 911 call and they hang up or they are silent through it, they send out a search team, because it is assumed that somebody, whoever called, is not able to speak. Like, let's say, like, DV, or whenever someone's being conspicuous or you can't really hear anything, they just assume and they immediately try to ping the location of whoever called to go make sure to send a search team.
Right, which makes sense, but I had no idea when I was 6.
You were 6. It's okay.
And yeah, I mean, it makes sense why they do that.
Yeah, so I have been in 911 calls, and they are stressful. Like, I was at jobs where they would tell me, Priscila called 911. Oh, and me being like 19, 20, 21, I was like, okay. And there was a person having a heart attack in front of me. And I had someone yelling at me in the phone being like, what is their birthday? And me asking the man on the floor, what's your birthday? They could hardly speak to me. Obviously, they're having a heart attack.
I've never made an actual 911 call, but I've seen the clips on TikTok of how stressful it can get, and I can't even imagine like having to go through that.
Honestly, if I'm dying, either drive me to the hospital or let me die, because please do not go through that. But, like, thing is, I get it. As a first responder, like, you want to make sure that the other person is safe. If I tell you someone is dying, and if someone is currently having a heart attack in front of me, your priority isn't to make sure about my anxiety. Your priority is to make sure that the person stays alive.
But it's also, they are kind of trained to keep the whole situation calm.
Definitely.
So, whether it's a person calling or, like, the one calling 911 for themselves or for someone else, they normally are supposed to try to keep it calm because they already know how stressful the situation is.
Definitely, because I've seen some calls with children and they're a lot more gentle because they know a child will panic. They hear an adult calling and they're like, stay calm, tell me the situation, stay on the line, tell me everything about it, like, tell me their vitals, is he breathing? And
which
me over here, like, I don't know if they're breathing. How can you check if they're breathing?
It makes sense.
Are they breathing or not? And it's just me panicking.
Is their chest going up and down or no?
It's scary though.
I bet. I like I told you, I've only seen clips, but I can only imagine how stressful it can get.
It is terrifying. So you have someone on the phone. This is where we start off in the movie, like I said. And she immediately is like, come help us. He's in the house. And the first responder is like, who's in the house? And she's like, he's here. And the first responder is like, what's your location? Like, immediately, like, obviously, so she can start sending officers on the way. And the person on the phone is, no, he's here, help us. And then cuts the call.
Like, who's here?
That's why the first responders are on the way. And turns out the person that was calling was Veronica, our main character.
Oh.
So then we immediately cut off.
Okay.
And we go 3 days back. 3 days back from this phone call. We go back into real time, where the movie starts.
Okay.
And we start off. Okay, so we have 3 siblings. Mm-hmm. We have the youngest one called Antonito. His name's probably Antonio, but they call him Antonito.
That makes sense. He's a little one. It makes sense that he...
Yeah. We have the twins, which, by the way, Fernando is a twin. Wow.
I do happen to be a twin. Yeah. Yeah, I'm technically the older one by 10 minutes, but...
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, but yeah, I do happen to be a twin.
Which I'm glad you mentioned that, because, like, in the movie, we have twins, Irene and Lucia.
Lucia.
They're always fighting about who's older. Obviously, we know who's older, but the youngest one goes, it doesn't matter. It was 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's how me and my brother are. We never really. I'm never like, oh, I'm the oldest, because 10 minutes is like, be so for real. Like, 10
Shut
minutes,
up.
What is 10 minutes gonna do? Like, you came into this world 10 minutes earlier than I did. What did you learn in those 10 minutes? What did you learn?
So yeah, we have the twins. We have Antonito, and then we have the eldest, who is Veronica.
Okay.
But by eldest, I don't mean like she's grown. She's 15 years old.
And what do we think the twins are?
The twins are about, like, I want to say 9, but that's a ballpark.
Okay. I did a ballpark when I spoke about my characters as well. And Antonito?
I want to say like 4. Maybe, yeah. 4.
So young, like...
Yeah, he's like actually needs to get taken care of.
Toddler.
Toddler-ish. Like, he's going to like kindergarten maybe.
Yeah.
But the twins, they're out here trying to be grown. And then we have Veronica, who's taking care of the kids. Which, I wanted to bring up the point. It is very common, at least from my household. I can see a lot of Hispanic households or Latin households. Once again, I'm speaking from experience. Really not use a babysitter. They just use the oldest child.
The oldest. As long as the oldest, they have an oldest, that's who's taking care of them now.
Yeah, because I remember my babysitter was, do not open the door for strangers. Someone knocks on the door, hide. Don't make any noises. Do not turn on the stove.
I remember having those rules too, but my sister was the one that was our babysitter.
I was the babysitter.
So, but it was the same rules. You don't open the door. Whoever knocks, doesn't matter if it's your aunt or whatever, you're not opening the door. So, yeah. I remember those rules as well.
Which is like, I think is less uncommon now.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, I don't know if a lot of people do that anymore, but like back in the days, you would know like, oh, whoever down the road is doing the same thing.
Yeah, like, and once again, no hate. That's just how it was for us, I guess. We wake up to Veronica, and we're playing some 1990s music. And Veronica wakes up all the children because she's playing that motherly role. Mm-hmm. She wakes up the twins, being like, oh, get breakfast together, go heat up the milk. And she gets the other one to be like, oh, go wash up, get ready for school. And then she wakes up Antonito. And Antonito, the first thing he says is, me hice pee, which translates roughly to, I peed myself, but in a cutesy way. And she's like,
the little one.
The little one, yeah. And she's like, darn, okay, go wash up with your older sister. Like, because they're very young. It doesn't really matter when you're that young and your siblings, I think, right?
Yeah.
So they have the typical sibling arguments in the morning, and then she goes to the kitchen where the other sister is heating up milk or whatever, and she's like, but I'm the eldest, which goes back to the twin fights. And then Veronica's like, well, did you heat up the milk? And the sister goes, no. And she's like, oh, well, what a good big sister you are. Like, kind of like, once again, harping more on the big motherly role that she is. I feel like all these scenes matter because it goes to show how much she cares for her siblings.
Yeah, she's kind of like their second mom at this point.
Yeah. So eventually they're all eating breakfast, rushing through the day. Well, the beginning of the day. And then one of the sisters goes, oh, hey, by the way, Veronica, we need the negatives of the roll of film. What would you call it?
I think you said it. I think it's just films, yeah.
Yeah, film.
Like the roll.
Like the brown and black one, the one that you do it, like that you have from either a disposable camera.
I think it is just film, yeah.
Yeah, before you get it developed. That negative, they need that. And then Veronica's like, why? And the little sister goes, oh, because of the eclipse. Because there's a big solar eclipse going on that day. And the school wanted them to bring that.
Okay.
So Veronica goes, you could have told me yesterday. And the sister goes, well, I didn't think about it. Which, once again, one more thing to show that Veronica's the adult here. Which, at 15, you should not be an adult.
Yeah, you're so, yeah. I mean, you're so grown up yourself. Like.
Exactly. But then we got to the mom. Their mom is very absent. But their mom is a single mom because we come to find out that their dad is dead.
Oh.
Their dad, I don't think we're very clear on why he died.
Or how he died.
Or how. I just know that he's dead. He died fairly early. So now their mom owns a bar. And she's gone for most of the day. They wake up and do whatever they need to do on their own. Then they get back from school and their mom is working. Then their mom gets back at like 2 in the morning, per se. I mean, imagine. Bar life.
And then by the time their kids wake up, I bet she's still like out.
Yeah, so their mom is not really active. But there's nothing wrong with that because when you're a single mother, I've never been a mother, I don't know. But the stakes are pretty high and I
could imagine, yeah.
They're busy. They're trying to maintain 4 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even if it's just 1 kid, I feel like that's enough to eat up your time. If you want to make sure they have a childhood in a way.
Yeah, I feel like even if she didn't, if the husband was in the picture or she was by herself, like had someone to like bring in income, it's still a difficult job. Like
any kid.
Yeah, any kid. It's still a difficult job to take care of them.
We're not hitting on Veronica's mom at all.
No.
Like she's just trying her best. She's just very busy. But she should have been a little less busy. But
it's like taking care of kids is like a second job.
Oh, maybe
a full-time job that even like if
that you have to make a little time for, like between to work your full-time job.
Like even if you have your own job, that's still part of your full-time. So
yeah. So now we get the dynamic. Veronica's mom wakes up when Veronica's looking for the films. And she's like, hey, what's going on? And Veronica's like, no, rest up. I'm just looking for something for school. And then Veronica's mom is like, okay, just be careful. Stay safe. Typical stuff. So, yeah, they're going to school. And essentially we get a projection. They're talking about the eclipse. The teacher is. and she's talking about rituals that happen during the eclipse, because that's when, back in the day, they used to see that whenever, like, it was when the earth was susceptible, whenever a sacrifice would be worth more.
A stack of what?
A sacrifice.
Oh, a sacrifice. Okay.
Yeah, so they saw that as like a really like impactful time.
Okay.
So these girls, well, Veronica, her and her friend Rosa, they wanted to play the Ouija board. Because they were like, what better time than an eclipse, right?
Okay.
Apparently they never watched a scary movie in their lives, but okay. So as they're gonna go play the Ouija board, Rosa stops Veronica and she's like, oh, hey, you remember the girl that got held back a grade? And Veronica's like, yeah, Diana, right? Rosa goes, yeah, she's coming with us. And Veronica goes, what? I thought it was just going to be me and you. And then Rosa goes, yeah, it's going to be me, you, and Diana.
And Diana.
And Veronica's like kind of weirded out. But then Rosa's like, well, Diana's boyfriend died last year because of that motorcycle accident. Like, she just wanted some closure. Like, I don't know what these girls think. As if they're going to get in the Ouija board and start FaceTiming them or something. I don't know.
Hey.
Like, welcome back. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. But okay. So they go down to the basement of the school.
Okay.
Meanwhile, on the rooftop of the school, we have all the grades watching the eclipse.
Oh, okay. So the eclipse is going on now?
Yeah. Well, it's about to start.
Okay.
And the girls are down there in the basement with the Ouija board. And if you don't know what a planchette is the thing that you use on a Ouija board to tell you what letters.
It guides you to the letters.
Yeah, it guides you to the letters so you can spell something out. But they're not using the typical planchette. They're using a glass cup that's about like maybe 4 inches high. And they're all putting their fingers on it.
And we don't know why they were doing that?
No, it's like, I guess because of the times, maybe the planchette's more recent. I could be wrong. I'm uneducated.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
So is this not a classic Ouija board? Does it look different or?
Well, based on the Ouija boards I've seen, typically we use a planchette that has like a little heart shape, but upside down. Mm-hmm. But back then, I don't know if it was a back then thing or if it was a isolated movie thing. Because they're using a glass cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're using a cup and they're like, is anybody there? Oh, by the way, Veronica's trying to reach her dad, while Diana's trying to reach her ex. But then Rosa's like, yeah, you need a object from the living person, the person that died.
Just like to have with them, or like are they putting this in the cup? Like what are they doing?
I don't know if I told you, but Veronica grabbed the picture of her dad while she was going through the film.
Okay.
But Diana was like, well, I don't have anything for my boyfriend. And then it just cuts off and they start playing.
Did Rosa have an intent, or she was just there?
Rosa was just there to vibe.
She's there for the vibe.
Rosa's just having fun, I guess, which strange idea of fun, but I guess we'll go off.
Okay.
Who am I to judge?
Right.
But Veronica brought a picture of her dad. They put it underneath the Ouija board, like on a corner.
Okay.
And they start playing. And they're like, is anybody there? And they start asking your typical questions, like, are you here with us? Can you hear us? And eventually it moves to yes. And they're like, who is this? And the words are not very clearly spelled out. But eventually they're like, are you Veronica's dad? And then it goes to yes.
So they contacted him?
Sure.
They think they contacted him?
Sure.
Okay.
So then they start talking to it. And then the eclipse starts. Like when the actual moon gets in front of the sun.
Okay.
So we're going dark. Like we're going to the peak of the eclipse. And as we're doing that, the glass gets too hot. So the two girls, Diana and Rosa, take their hands away because it's steaming. Like their fingers burn from where they were touching. But Veronica still has her fingers on the glass. And Veronica looks out of it. Like she is like out of it. She's just looking at the glass, blank face,
So like if she's not there.
as if she's not feeling the burn.
Huh.
And the glass starts going crazy through the board. And Rosa and Diana are like, what's going on? What's going on? And Veronica's just deadpan silence, just moving the glass through the board. Very quick.
Oh, God.
And then at the peak of the eclipse, the glass breaks. And Veronica gets cut. So with her blood, she drags her finger and hovers it over the sun and the Ouija board. If you don't know, the Ouija board has a sun and a moon. If I'm not mistaken, the moon is on the left-hand side, the sun is on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Veronica she hovers her bloody fingers over the sun, eclipse covering the sun.
Oh, okay.
Her blood starts dripping in the Ouija board.
That doesn't seem right.
It's not.
What does the sun mean, though? Because I know the moon has a meaning and the sun has a meaning.
It might be a lot different in this movie, but from what I know, is that sometimes when you want to make sure if a spirit is good or not, you ask, are you from the sun or from the moon? If the planchette guides you to the moon, that means they're bad. If it guides you to the sun, that means they're good. However, this time, Veronica's dropping her blood on the sun.
I was about to say, I don't know if I would believe that because she's bleeding. The glass just broke.
Yeah.
And she's going towards the sun.
And she's still out of it. Like, Rosa's trying to shake her awake. And she's like, Veronica, Veronica. And then she slaps her. 4-4 slaps her. And then Veronica starts whispering. Like, inaudible, like, whispers. And they're freaking out. They're like, go call the nuns because they're in a Catholic school.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, go call the nuns, go call the teachers, go figure something out.
Oh,
And
God.
Rosa's panicking, trying to shake Veronica, like, back to sanity. And Veronica falls back and she starts, like, screaming, like a guttural scream.
So she got possessed.
We don't know that yet. And then Rosa
like
she grabs Rosa by the hair and brings her, like, down to her face and whispers something in her ear.
What did she whisper?
We don't know that yet.
Okay.
So then we cut to the nurse's office. Veronica wakes up. And she's like, what happened? And the nurse is like, oh, iron deficiency.
What?
You should eat some dark meat tonight. Maybe some red meat.
So they don't even tell her what just went down.
The girls, obviously, they're not going to say that we're playing the Ouija board in a Catholic school.
True. I was going to say.
I was like, they don't want to get in trouble either.
Yeah.
And so they just take him to the nurse, and the nurse is like, oh yeah, you passed out because of iron deficiency. Try to eat some red meat. You'll be fine.
No.
And Veronica's
right.
like, okay. And then she leaves with her sisters and her little brother. And she, like, makes her sisters promise to not tell their mom that she went to the nurse's office. That she passed out.
What does she want her mom to know?
I guess to not worry her. Or I guess also to not make any leads to the Ouija board. Because...
Oh, because then the questioning
traditional
starts.
Catholics.
And then, yeah. Okay.
So they head back home. And Veronica goes to make dinner for the kids. Well, actually, they stop by her mom's bar.
Oh, okay.
And Veronica tries to talk to her, but the mom is very nonchalant. She's very like, just go, I made some noodles, go home, like, take care. And Veronica's like, wait, mom. And the mom is like, I'm busy.
Oh, Veronica is trying to tell her that something happened?
I guess. She's kind of like trying to bring attention to it, maybe, perhaps.
But Veronica doesn't even know what really happened.
No, I guess she's kind of like a scared 15-year-old.
Yeah, like, you just experienced this. It makes sense. Like,
yeah, and her mom was like, go home. Like, I'm busy. I'm working. Bye.
Now, they go to a Catholic school. Is her mom also Catholic?
Presumably so.
Okay.
I mean, they wouldn't be in a Catholic. Well, I don't know how things in Spain work.
But yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, she wouldn't have enrolled them in that if she wasn't, at least.
A little bit. But the thing is, I could be mistaken. Please do not take my word as gospel. And yes, I'm being ignorant, but from what I understand is that Spain is a predominantly Catholic country.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
From what I understand. I could be wrong. This is my ignorant point of view. So Veronica gives up on that, takes the kids back home, and that same night, Veronica makes them meatballs or whatever, and they're eating their noodles. They sit down, and the kids are having a normal conversation. They're yapping about the eclipse, and Veronica like kind of goes out of it, and she brings a meatball up to her mouth, and it looks like a panic attack, but she's not moving. She starts rattling the fork between her teeth with the meatball. So we have all the meatball like juices like streaming down her face.
Oh god.
And she's shaking, but her face is not moving. And her siblings start to notice. And they're like, Vero, like Veronica. And she's not moving. And then one of the siblings that was away, she was grabbing milk. I don't know why her character keeps on being involved with milk.
Weird that my show was also the little boy loved milk. Huh. I guess those little kid things.
Maybe, perhaps. She brings back the milk, and when she sees Veronica seizing like that...
One of the twins?
Yeah, one of the twins. She drops the milk and screams. And when the milk touches Veronica's feet, because obviously it spills all over the floor, Veronica, like, gets out of it. Like, she immediately drops the fork and, like, gets back into her normal mode, and she's like, what happened? And the sibling, what?
I'm sure you're gonna say this later, but is it milk specifically, or is it gonna be any liquid?
No, it's just milk.
Just milk. Oh.
I don't know, to this day. I've watched this movie thousands of times. Just milks.
Huh. Okay. So then she comes back?
Yeah, she's like, what happened? And the siblings are like, you just stopped and started, like, freaking out.
Like, spazzing out, pretty much.
Yeah, Veronica's like, huh, strange. Anyway.
Well, I guess because maybe in that, when she is in that sense, she just doesn't remember it. So for her, it just, like, clips back to her, like, normal. Yeah. So she can't really question it because she doesn't know what's going on, I'm guessing.
Yeah, true. She goes to clean up. And when she's cleaning up, she notices on her shoulder that she has a hand mark. Like, in the back of her shoulder. Like, she looks into the mirror and, like, shows off her back a little bit. And she sees that big bruise.
A bruise?
Like,
on her, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And she's like, oh, well, that's weird. Anyway. Anyway.
I would be picturing the rest of the day, like, what did I hit myself on? Because, like, where did this come from? She's just like, oh, well.
Well, I get it. I get bruises all the time. And I'm just like,
I guess
whatever.
if you bruise easily, but...
Yeah.
if I get a bruise, I'm like, where did that come from?
No, I randomly touch pieces of my legs, and I'm like, ow! And I'm like, oh, I guess I hit myself. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, no,
But
I would be trying to remember step by step throughout the day, like, where did this come from?
Yeah, so then I think it might be a Friday. No, it could not have been a Friday, because, no, it had to be a Friday, because then they don't go to school later.
Oh, okay.
They do. It's a Thursday, maybe.
Thursday, okay.
Because then on Friday, they go to school again. And Veronica tries to throw, like, 'cause I don't know if I told you. I don't think I did. Her and Rosa, her best friend, they, like, make notes with each other. Like, because they sit, like, across from each other at school.
So they're sending notes in
like,
school?
Diagonally.
Oh. Like in front?
Yeah, like, one is in front and the other one is in the next row over in the back.
Oh, okay.
So, basically, they make notes and they crumble them and they just throw it at each other.
So, just like sending notes in school?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they did that on the first episode. I just didn't mention it. But Veronica goes to make a note and crumbles it up. And when she's going to throw it to Rosa, she notices that Rosa's crumbling a note up. So she's waiting for Rosa to throw it to her first. But then Rosa throws it to Diana. So then she keeps her own note to herself. Because I'm assuming, girl friendships, 15 years old.
She's probably like, oh,
insecure. She's replacing me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, my bad. So we skip through that, and at the end of the school day, nothing much goes on.
So she never sends a note at all?
No.
Oh.
But she reaches Rosa, and she's like, hey, like... Oh, because I missed... There was this phone call. Rosa was supposed to come over to her house.
Mm-hmm.
But, as she was looking at the bruise, as Veronica was looking at her bruise, the phone call comes through.
Okay.
But she doesn't make it back in time. When she makes it back into the landline, the sister was like... The twin was like, oh, yeah, that was Rosa. She told me that she's not going to come over. Like, she had something to do.
So now they're scared of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Veronica goes, did she not ask you to put me on the line? And the twin goes, no. And Veronica's like, okay.
Oh, so they're acting brand new now.
Yeah, they're fake. They're very fake. So, after school on Friday, Veronica finds Rosa and she's like, hey, what's going on? Why didn't you talk to me? Why didn't you come over yesterday? What's going on?
Yeah.
And Rosa goes, oh, like, nothing. Something just came up. Like, I got busy.
Lying.
And then Diana's like, oh, hey, Veronica, are you coming to the party tomorrow? And Veronica goes, what party?
Oh, so now they're making plans without her. What?
And they were best friends. That's the bad part.
Now, if they were truly best friends, I feel like you would check up on her and be like, are you good? Like,
I mean, what are you doing if
but it's
I
also
start teasing out? And
I'm not gonna disappear. I'm gonna be like, Brie, are you good? Like, what
let's
happened?
call a priest.
Like, maybe we should like
Maybe we should figure out what's going on.
Yeah, maybe we should get you like cleansed or something. I wouldn't just be like, okay, Brie. Like,
But they're like 15.
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, they're 15-year-olds, so
Because
like,
bring it back to when we were 15. Would you can't even drive then?
yeah, I couldn't tell you what I was doing at 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't even know.
Because nowadays I'd be like, let me in. Let me walk into your house. I'm gonna tell your dad. F you. We're gonna figure it out together.
Yeah.
But back then, I cannot even remember how I would react.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you either, to be honest. 15. What grade was that?
Like sophomore year.
Sophomore year? Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Oh, now you understand.
I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I would have probably checked out, but then I would have been like, okay, they said they're good.
Yeah, sophomore year, you start acting weird. You start whispering some weird stuff. You start bleeding on a Ouija board. I'm going to go. My parents didn't let me go after 7, so.
Yeah.
My mom said I couldn't go out, so.
I had no car to take me there, so.
Exactly. And we live in a city that's not very drivable. It's not very walkable. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not like I can just be like, hey, I'm going to go walk over to your house. It's going to be like an hour walk.
Mm-hmm. Either where we live at, you either drive or you don't go nowhere.
Right. Because you're not taking a bike either because you're going to get hit on the way there.
We live in a small southern town, okay?
Yeah. There's not much there. There's not much. Plus, if you were to go do something, like, what are you going to go do? Head up
Play at Food Lion.
Play at Food Lion, go to the McDonald's. But, like,
we have 3 restaurants in our hometown, okay? 3 restaurants.
That's why I go out so often, because I'm like, there's nothing here. Like, what am I going to do here?
I'd rather drive to somewhere interesting.
Yeah, like, if we want to go somewhere interesting, 30 minutes minimum. Minimum.
And that's still not interesting enough.
Exactly. That's still not interesting. Like, if you want something good, it's like an hour.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, they're being super fake. Her friends are being super fake.
Crazy, yeah.
Well, once again, she's not really Diana's friend. She's Rosa's friend.
Yeah, but it's so messed up.
Rosa's being fake.
Yeah, it's so messed up that Rose was acting that way, though.
We're gonna get to why, but...
She might know. The Whisperer.
The Whisperer!
Oh, okay.
So Diana was like, so you're not going to the party, like, tomorrow? And then Veronica's like, oh, didn't you tell me there was a party, Rosa? Like...
Kind of fake.
Thought we were besties.
Right. Could have mentioned it at least.
Yeah, Rosa was like, oh, it just came up.
All right.
A
whole party just pops up out of nowhere.
No. Because their parents are going to be out of town and everything. Like, it was not reason. Veronica and her siblings go back home. This is Friday night after school again. Veronica goes to bed normally. And then she wakes up at some point. I might be all over the place on this middle part because I've watched it a lot of times, but it is not very clear. I watch it in the background a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, essentially, everybody goes to bed. Everything is normal. And, like I said, I might have some things messed up, but I'm just going to stop saying the dates. And I'm just going to go on to the events.
Okay.
Okay, so essentially, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, one of the things that the first nurse asks her in school after they play the Ouija board, she asks her if she has had her period.
Oh.
And she says no. And the nurse goes, well, how old are you? And Veronica's like, I'm 15. And the nurse goes, and you haven't had your period? Because I'm not sure if you're aware, but girls typically get their period around like 11 or 12.
Oh, I did not know that, no.
So Veronica's 15 and she hasn't had her period. And I know from Hispanic, like, tradition and Hispanic culture, I know that the later that you get your period, like if you play the Ouija board that early, you're more susceptible to get influenced by bad spirits.
Really?
Like spirits like a virgin. Spirits like no period having virgin. Because I guess it gives purity. And they want to take that purity.
Huh.
Perhaps.
That's very interesting.
That was just a thing I wanted to add. But yeah. So Veronica and her siblings go back home. And they go to bed. And all of a sudden she wakes up. And she wakes up because her siblings start hopping up and down on her bed. They're like, wake up, Veronica, we're hungry. Like, go make us breakfast, right? Veronica's like, leave me alone, it's too early for this. Let's not do this right now. And the siblings are like, no, we're hungry. And then Antonito takes a bite out of her arm. Yeah.
What?
And Veronica's like, what are you doing? Like, Antonito, stop. And then the siblings start doing the same. Earlier, when they went to her mom's bar, she goes to her mom. And she's like, Mom, something really weird is going on. And the mom is like, Veronica, you have to grow up. Like, you have to be the adult. You cannot always be the adult. Once again, Veronica's 15.
She's barely 15 and she wants her to grow up.
So that's the night they go to bed. And Veronica wakes up to her siblings trying to eat her. Yeah. And they're like trying to eat at her, being like, oh, we're hungry, wake up. And Veronica, as a 15-year-old, as a child, starts screaming out for her mom. She's like, mommy.
Yeah, I think in that situation, like...
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Right now, if I was getting eaten alive, I'd just be screaming bloody. I don't know if I'd call for my mom. But I'm 23. Veronica was 15.
She was 15, yeah.
So she starts screaming out for her mom. So her mom pulls up. And her mom, she's laying in bed. So you can see her mom from above. And her mom is like, Veronica, you have to grow up. So she reaches an arm towards Veronica's like stomach. Veronica's mom, not her mom, but the shadow reaches over her womb and squishes. Like just the shadow, not the actual hand. And then blood appears. And then Veronica wakes up and her period starts.
So she was having like a sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Veronica wakes up and she's like, oh, I guess I have my period now. And then this is Saturday now. Now I got my time straight.
Okay.
So Veronica wakes up and she's like, okay, something weird is going on.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah, so Veronica goes back to the school, to the basement, to see if she can find out what's going on. And when she's looking around, she hears someone say, "Te están siguiendo," which translates to, "They're following you." And Veronica turns around and then she sees a character. They call her Madre Muerte, which translates to Mother Death. She has her eyes are white. She's a nun. Everybody in the school is scared of her. That's why the little kids at school call her Mother Death, because she looks so creepy.
Okay.
They're all scared of her.
Uh-huh.
They all don't want to be near her. I mean, imagine if you were a little school kid seeing a woman with white eyes that barely talks, only gives off very strange one-liners.
Yeah, I would get put off as well, yeah.
Yeah, so that's her.
Okay.
And she says that those kind of one-liners where she's like, someone's following you. And Veronica's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here?
Right.
And then Veronica's like, I'm investigating something. And Mother Death says, do you want a cigarette? And Veronica goes, I'm 16. And then I'm 15.
15.
Then Mother Death goes, that's good. That'll kill you.
That'll what?
That'll kill you.
Oh, smoking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Veronica goes, I don't know. Where she's like, do you know we all call you Mother Death? And Mother Death goes, that's okay. I like it. It's better than my real name. Her real name is just a regular name, but it just kind of weird sounding.
So she just doesn't like it.
Yeah, so she's like, that's good. Let them be scared of me. I don't really care.
Okay.
And Veronica
Very
goes, you can see them too, huh? And Mother Death goes, you know, I did this to myself. The blindness.
Blindness?
She became blind because of herself, because she could see those demons and spirits. And Mother Death goes, you don't need eyesight to see them.
So Mother Death, even though she can't physically see...
She could see before.
Yeah, but even though she can't physically see now, she can still see them.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I tried to stop seeing them, but it didn't work. And Veronica's like, how can you get rid of them? And then Mother Death goes, you can't. You open a portal that you cannot close anymore.
There has to be a solution, though.
Mother Death is like, you open the portal, now you have to figure out how to close it. And then that's when another teacher pops up, and she's like, why are you bothering Mother Death? Like, asking Veronica why she's bothering this poor woman that has been yapping about ghosts. But
wait, does she have a role in the school, or she just hangs out in the basement?
Mother Death, she used to be, okay. So in Catholic schools, you have hermanas.
Right.
Hermanas are sisters. Sisters are nuns.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones taking care of the kids. Mother Death used to be an English teacher.
Oh.
But now she's more of a supervisor. And the teacher comes in and she's like, why are you bothering Mother Death? Why are you here on a weekend anyway? Go home.
True. That's kind of weird.
And Mother Death doesn't say anything. Veronica's just like, oh, I'm sorry. Da, 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 da. Then when the teacher is trying to bring Mother Death back into like the regular hallway, Mother Death turns around and she goes, the answers are in the books.
What books?
Veronica got the Ouija board with a book.
With a book?
Yeah, the Ouija board came with a book.
Oh, okay. So like a guide.
So, yeah. So then Veronica goes back. She's in a swing, and she has her bag with the book that came with the Ouija board. She's looking through that book, and she reads, you cannot end a Ouija board without. The next part is burnt off.
Oh my
You cannot end your Ouija board session without burn.
But I don't know if this is gonna be the similar, but wouldn't it just be like without saying goodbye? Doesn't that how Ouija boards normally work?
There's a lot more lore. Which strangely I am very well versed in that lore. So she starts panicking. So she goes to the bookstore again.
Okay.
And buys the same Ouija board with the same book.
To try to find the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And
she finds out you cannot end the Ouija board session without saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
You leave that open. For every Ouija board session, you have to say a mantra.
What is a mantra?
Okay, so a mantra, they mention in the movie, it's like a constant melody or like something that you say amongst yourselves.
Okay.
So I think it's based on the Ouija movie that I heard this mantra that was like, as friends we gather, hearts are true, spirits here we talk to you.
And this is before you start anything.
Yeah, that's like in the Ouija board movie. If you say while you're saying that, you're moving the planchette in infinity symbols in eights.
Oh, okay.
Just we didn't know, but from what I understand, traditionally, you're supposed to do that.
Oh.
You're supposed to have a mantra. I'm once again, I'm uncultured. I am an idiot. This is just from what I've read, from what I've seen, the proper way to do it. I do not recommend playing it. Simply, if you're not well educated on the Ouija board or like anything spiritual wise, do not mess with that kind of thing because it could have bad ending. It is simply if you are genuinely like involved in the community, in the spiritual like community in that way,
and genuinely have good intentions.
If you're mentally weak, please do not bring a friend that is just trying to mess around with that kind of thing, because this is not the kind of thing that you mess around with. This is something that you have to be serious with, because once again, whether you believe it or not, whether you think it's real or not, you don't want to toss that coin. So then she reads that, and then it's like, if you didn't finish it correctly the first time, finish it correctly this time. So then she goes to the party and she knocks at their door like open up. Rosa opens up the door and she's like, oh, Veronica, you made it. And Veronica's like, we have to play again. And Rosa's like, no. No, we're not playing again. And Veronica's like, we have to. And Rosa's like, Veronica, did you forget what you told me? And Veronica's like, what did I tell? Veronica's like psyched out. Veronica's been going through all of these things. She's like scared. And Rosa's like, Veronica, did you forget what you told me? And Veronica's, please tell me what you told me. What I told you.
What did she, me, like, what did she tell her?
And Rosa's like, you told me that you would die today.
But that same day of the eclipse has been how many days that she hasn't died yet?
This is the third day.
Yeah.
The day that she calls the cops. She storms into the party being like, Diana, like, where are you at? We need to finish the session. She gets thrown out of the party. Because she's making a ruckus. She's acting crazy. Okay. And Rosa's like, I'm sorry. Like, you're acting crazy. Which, once again, if you do that to me, that's fake.
Yeah.
That's uber fake. Like, if you start acting like you're possessed, I'm gonna take you to church or something.
We're gonna get you cleansed. We're gonna figure something out.
Because there is no way I'm just gonna be like, yeah, you told me you're gonna die, and I'm just gonna ignore you.
Right. Like, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm like, okay, so she's saying, well, I guess she also hasn't said, like, we have to do this to say goodbye. But also, it's like, if she told you, like, she's gonna die that day, like,
you should be a little bit more concerned.
Like, why are you not, like, trying to find a solution or, like, trying to help? Like, you're just gonna be like, oh, stay away. Like, that.
Like, dude, that is not a true friend.
Like, that's crazy.
She just doesn't care. So Veronica's like, oof. But obviously, she found out from the books that she read, mantra, goodbye, redoing the session. So she goes back home with her siblings, her little siblings.
Uh-huh.
Saying, okay, guys, let's play a game.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. one of the twins goes, "What game is it?" And Veronica goes, "Oh, a game where I tell you what to do and you listen to me." And one of the twin goes, "Oh, what hell of a game." That's a good game, thanks.
Right.
But then Veronica puts the little boy, Antonito,
Oh no.
the little 4-year-old, she puts him to start drawing symbols on the walls.
On the wall.
These are protection symbols.
Oh, okay.
She puts a page in her book that she just bought. She's like, draw these protection symbols on her hallway walls. Antonito is 4 years old. So Antonito starts flipping through the pages. And he lands on the summoning.
Oh no.
On the summoning symbol. And he's just 4, so he's like, that looks cool. I'm going to draw that.
Oh no.
A summoning symbol on the wall. That's what he does.
So Veronica never thought to
No
look
one
at,
noticed that.
She never thought to look at what he drew?
You would think you wouldn't put that 4-year-old in that position, huh?
Just a 4-year-old to be like, yeah, flip through the books, find
No, you're like, here, draw this.
draw this. He's like, I don't like that one.
Yes, that.
That is crazy. But also the fact that she didn't go back and look at the symbol, like,
Yeah, and then again, she's 15.
I don't know, but you're doing something kind of crazy. I feel like you could have, like,
I mean,
back
I feel
at
like she didn't have to play the Ouija board to begin with.
True. But, like, if she's now gonna, like, commit to this, I feel like she should have looked back and been like, okay, make sure we have everything right, because it went wrong one time. Surely she doesn't want it to go wrong again. But
I mean, I felt like she might have thought she was experienced.
oh, so she read one page of the book and she
I
knows
never
everything.
claimed she was smart. Not once did I say our main character was smart.
Okay, I want to know what happens. What?
Okay, so it gets so good. Like, genuinely. Okay, I had my cousin. She's from Mexico, so she knows all these, like, typical, like, lore. The Catholicism. Because I don't know if it changes from place to place. But from where we are from, we're very Catholic. We're very solid on God. We're very, like, just, you don't know anybody that's not religious from where I'm from.
Okay.
So we were watching this, and I just saw her being really uneasy, and I was like, are you okay? And she was like, it's just making me feel weird. And I was like, are you scared? And she's like, no, it's just a bad feeling.
From the movie in general?
Yes.
Oh, no.
She did not like the movie. Like, she was like, oh yeah, I watched so many scary movies with my friends. And me showing her this movie, she was just like, me da malas vibras. Which, it gives me bad vibes. But she was
Is it kind of
genuinely
twisted
like,
that now I want to watch it even more?
maybe. Maybe.
Like, I'm like, I want to know what happens. I want to see what's going on.
It is a good movie. It is such a good movie.
I want to watch it because from everything that I've heard so far, it's like...
It's one of my favorites.
This is good.
It keeps you on the edge of your seat. She's like, okay, we're going to play the Ouija board. The little kid is just sitting on the corner, drawing invocation symbols to attract demons. Cool.
Okay.
And the other 2 sisters are playing the Ouija board with her. What's his name? Antonito.
Oh, Antonito.
He wanted to play with them, but Veronica was like, no, it's only 3 people, because originally it was only played with 3 people. And so that's why she put him to draw symbols. So Veronica was like, okay, so we have to play. She was scrolling through the book, and she was like, oh, we have to play a mantra. So one of the twins was like, what's a mantra?
Me. Me asking what?
As a twin. But they were like, a repetition or a soft song, or like just in general something everybody knows. And throughout the movie, they have this little mantra that Antonito keeps singing. So Antonito is singing Estella no se tiempo. Oh, also we found out. I showed Fernando like 5 minutes of the movie. Now he wants to watch it, like Attack on Titan.
It's so good.
Maybe I'm a good storyteller. I don't know. But basically the song is Estella, no se tiempo para disfrutar. Estella, Estella. And Antonito be singing this throughout the movie. Well, throughout the movie they tell him to shut up. They tell him, stop freaking repeating the same song. You sound like a broken record. And he's just vibing. And so they're playing the Ouija with the two little sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Antonito's sitting off into a corner. And as they're talking, as they're like trying to summon whatever it was.
Little do they know, he drew the summon signs.
The light starts flickering.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts turning dark. And the cup that they're using as a planchette, as the thing that tells them the letters in the Ouija board, jumps up and about.
It starts rolling. But after the
rolling.
Ouija board broke.
Oh yeah, it broke again. Like where
The
they
only reason I
taped
know
it.
this is because we literally just watched that 5 minutes.
I only allowed him 5 minutes so he could be surprised through the next. So the cup starts rolling, and it just specifically rolls to a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls are like, Veronica, what do we do? And Veronica's like, girls, stay here. I'll go. So she goes. And then this cup starts hitting the door over and over again. If I'm not mistaken, it's hitting the mom's door. And it's like a farm style type of house where there's a hallway with rooms on the side. And then there's the master bedroom at the end. So it's hitting the master bedroom over and over again. And Veronica's just watching it. And then it opens. And she goes in and she's wondering what's going on. Nothing much is going on. Just creepy vibes. She comes back out.
Just creepy vibes.
Just creepy vibes. Am I mistaken?
No.
She comes back out. And she looks at the kids. She's trying to make sure they're okay. And the sisters are sitting in the corner scared. Essentially, I missed the part where during one of her nightmares, her dad popped up. He was naked.
Oh.
And like very creepy looking, being like, Veronica. And then like, I think that's when she woke up to her siblings eating her.
Oh, okay.
And then another time... yeah, that. Another time, like, there was another dark spirit. Right before she woke her sibling up to choking her,
Mm-hmm.
she was walking through the rooms. And whenever she woke them up, after she was choking her sibling up, she lifted up the couch, the mattresses.
Mm-hmm.
When she lifted them up, she saw their outlines.
In the mattress.
In the mattress, like a burnt figure.
Of them?
Of them.
Oh.
And right after she lifted all of them up, she saw a shadow on the walls, trying to reach them. That's when she goes to like touch the burnt stain. The arm of the shadow that I was mentioning earlier reaches out to her.
Like a shadow literally comes and pulls her arm.
Yeah, it is physical now. And she's fighting it. And she gets through. And then she turns around and she's like, Antonito. Yeah. Then she sees her youngest sibling in the corner of the room looking at a door.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just amazed. And then he gets picked up.
By a creature.
And then he gets pulled out. And she's like, Ayo, what? She's freaking out. So obviously, as the mother figure, as the 15-year-old, as the main figure here. She's like, actually, no, you're not taking my brother away from me. She jumps through the window. Through her, like, bedroom window. Or her mother's bedroom window.
Uh-huh.
She jumps through the glass. The glass breaks. And she's looking for Antonito. She's looking for her younger brother. She's like, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? And then she finds him in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And picks him up. And she's like, all right, let's get out of here.
I mean, as you should after seeing that, yeah.
As one should. She's freaking out. I'd be freaking out so much worse. Bro, I don't have any younger siblings. But I don't know if I had any, my feelings would change. But I would have ran out so quick.
Yeah.
Me personally, as one person that does not have any younger siblings, I would have been out the door.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would care about my siblings. Personally. I'm out.
I think I would. I would be like, let's get.
Like, if you're not following me, you're alone. But she's looking for Antonito. She finds Antonito. She picks him up. And she's like going to the living room. And she sees the sisters. You remember the twins?
Mm-hmm.
The ones that were still in the living room because she told them to stick by.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, stay, girls. And then now she's pulling up with Antonito. And she's like, let's get a move on.
Yeah.
This dude is behind us. This spirit, this whatever is following us, well, whatever is following her is behind us. Let's get a move on. So they start zooming. They start trying to get out of the building. They start going and going and going. And when they think they're about to walk out the door, one of the twins turns back and they're like, where's Antonito?
Was she not carrying him?
Veronica looks at the mirror. She sees Antonito. Lightning bolt happens. Antonito is no longer in her arms.
So where's he at?
She does not have Antonito.
Thought she was carrying him.
She thought she was too. So in a panic, she runs back.
Oh no. But now she left the other little sisters alone.
But they're out.
Oh, they're out. Okay.
They're out. They're at the entrance. But that's when they're like, where's Antonito? You know?
Yeah.
So she's like, where is Antonito? So she runs back. And she makes it back to the apartment. And she's looking for Antonito, screaming, Antonito, Antonito, Antonito. She opens a closet. I don't know if I told you, but I don't think I did. But at some point, she was trying to tell Antonito to be careful about the spirits. And she was like, if something that isn't me finds you, scream out my name. Okay. Scream out my name, cover your ears, close your eyes, scream out my name. So when Veronica finds Antonito in a closet, Antonito has his eyes and ears covered, screaming, Vero, Vero, Vero. Veronica doesn't know what that's about. So she just picks him up.
But this is actual him now because the other one...
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think that's just like movie lore.
Okay.
But actually, as she's trying to find Antonito, she goes into the bathroom. She goes through some struggles. Spirit struggles. And then she looks at the mirror. And then she looks at the mirror a little too long. And then she crashes her head against the mirror.
What the...
So the mirror breaks and she picks up a glass. Because she's like, oh, like, I'm gonna fight.
Fight whatever is following them?
Yeah.
Oh.
So then she goes to find Antonito. She hears the Vero, Vero, Vero. She finds a closet. She opens it and she's like, she sees her brother going, Vero, 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 like, continuously. There's no high and lows. There's just Vero, 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 Vero. He's a little 4-year-old just trying to find his sister. And then she gets the realization. She gets a flashback to the mirror scene where she crashed her head against it and the demon is in the reflection. She gets a flashback to when she was choking her sister And there was no demon. It was just her.
Oh my god.
She gets a flashback to every sketchy thing that has happened, and it was always her. And in the scene where she crashed her head against the mirror, she goes, "What are you?" And then we move on. But then we go back to the flashback. And then she's like, "You are me. You are me." That's why little Antonito was screaming out for Vero, because they didn't see her. They saw the demon.
Oh!
They saw the demon. It hasn't been Veronica for a hot ass minute. Every single time that the siblings were confused, it was because it wasn't Veronica. It was the demon.
So when she like ran back and asked her sister where her sister was at,
that's why they were so lost. That's why they were so confused, because it wasn't her. It was the demon. And that's why they were so scared.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when we didn't mention, but the mother saw all the cops heading back to their apartment. The mom dropped the job. She started running towards the apartment because I guess like mother intuition, like
she knew everything was going down.
Yes, everything that Veronica had said, she was just like, "Oh, there's something going on. There has to be something going on." She pulls up and all the cops are there. Whenever the mom pulls up, like the cops are coming out. They're done with the case. So the mom is like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, young girl, dead."
Who died? Veronica died.
Veronica's dead. The cop, you remember in the beginning when I told you he was shocked? The cop goes in and he opens the door. Because Veronica, once she realizes that she's the demon is in her, she slashes her throat open.
Oh my god.
She backs out into her room. And then the demon, you can see his shadow reaches into her throat, and she's like, creepy pose. Like, back arched, mouth fully open. The demon is like hands like in her throat. She's shaking. And that is the real life police report. That's what the police officer saw.
The
actual real life police officer has a statement that she was bent over backwards.
Veronica.
With a shadow. Yeah, Veronica with a shadow reaching down her throat.
Oh my god. What about the twins and the...
They're out.
What about Toñito?
Antonito got out because after she realized that she was the demon, she killed herself. So he had time to get out. And it is said that she was picked up by the ambulance. And as she was on the way to the hospital, the main police officer was still at the house. Whenever they walkie-talkie advised him, "Hey, the girl's dead," the picture on the living room frame started burning.
Which picture?
There was a picture of Veronica in the living room frame.
Oh.
It started burning. And this is real life. This is a police report.
Oh my.
And that's where we end the story. That was Veronica.
Oh my god. I'm not laughing at the fact that it's like, I'm laughing like nervous laugh, like.
No, we were nervous laughing earlier at some point. I know.
That,
or last episode, I don't know.
That was the craziest like ending that I could have ever
That was
imagined.
my favorite horror movie. What did you think the ending was gonna go like?
I had no idea. I thought she was gonna find a way to get rid of it. Like, to stop following them.
You thought it was gonna be Deliverance. You found a priest or something.
I thought she was gonna like eventually say goodbye on her own or something, but not that.
This is one of my favorite movies.
I can see why.
Okay. I think we're going to wrap it up. There's been 2 days of recording.
2 days of recording. This is probably the longest episode. I mean, it's our second episode, but like the longest episode we'll ever record because that is...
We're probably going to go back and wait for my boyfriend to pick me up and watch the ending of Veronica.
Oh, yeah. We're about to watch the ending before he gets here.
But in the meantime, we have to take our goodbyes. We have to be very grateful that anybody watched.
Oh my god, please let us know down below. Have you ever watched any of these movies? If you haven't, did we get your attention and are you gonna go watch it now? Because I am. Because I'm about to go watch
I'm
Veronica.
gonna watch the Deliverance. Don't try me.
Deliverance is nothing compared to Veronica. But
amen. Veronica's iconic. But if you like us enough,
and if you want to follow us on anything, we have YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Let's Get Tipsy Podcast.
And then we have Twitter at Let's Get Tipsy Pod,
which they will all be linked down below if you're watching on YouTube. And on TikTok or in anywhere else, they should be on our bio, which I don't think you'll be watching this clip on TikTok.
And if
but
you do,
if you stumble upon
it,
it should be there. Anyways, this was one heck of an episode.
I'm Priscila.
I'm Fernando.
And this was Let's Get Tipsy.
Hope you enjoyed. Bye.
Bye.